On July 23, 2025, Vin Diesel, best known in the MCU for giving Groot that unforgettable voice, jumped onto Instagram to share some thoughts about a project he had just wrapped up. The post has since been edited, but the original version set off a wave of excitement because Vin wrote, "So much to be excited about, finally finished the Groot sequel for our friends at Disney, the Arbor King. You all know the other films in process are upcoming, but something about the continuation of that beloved floral colossus just feels different." Since this message came directly from him, fans instantly started buzzing, because if Vin Diesel is hinting at a Groot sequel, then it naturally opens the door to a corner of MCU storytelling that we've barely explored. Most MCU projects have danced around Groot's origins without ever fully diving into Planet X, his homeworld, so it would be a major shift to finally explore it on screen. None of the Guardians movies took us there, and neither did the Avengers films. The closest thing we ever got was a brief nod in Secret Invasion when the show mentioned that the Super Skrulls pulled from the powers of creatures from Planet X. Even then, it wasn't much more than a passing detail. Still, the MCU has already established some things, like the fact that the floral colossi speak Telunezan, a language that sounds exactly like "I am Groot," repeated again and again. And although that joke gets used for humor, it's rooted in a real lore explanation about their physiology. Because Disney hasn't said a word about this project yet, it definitely seems like Vin Diesel revealed more than the studio wanted him to, so it makes sense that the original post was edited. But the thing about posting anything online is that once it's out, people see it instantly. Screenshots fly around, discussions spread, and suddenly the whole fandom is looking at Vin's comments and trying to figure out what it means. Whether Disney likes it or not, the reveal is now part of the conversation, and it strongly suggests that something involving Groot is actively being developed. And since that door has been cracked open, fans have started wondering what it means for the Guardians of the Galaxy team as a whole. Because even if the announcement didn't spell out Guardians 4, it hints that these characters still have a future in the MCU. So before diving into that larger impact, it's good to step back and revisit Groot's actual comic book origin, especially for anyone who isn't familiar with the deeper lore. Groot comes from the Flora Colossi, a race of tree-like beings from Planet X, which acts as the capital of what's known as the Branch Worlds. Their speech sounds limited because of their stiff larynxes, so everything comes out sounding like "I am Groot," even though they're actually saying far more complex things. Other species often get annoyed because it feels like the Flora Colossi refuse to communicate, but in the comics, Groot has always been capable of speaking eloquently in his own language. During Annihilation Conquest, readers even saw how beautifully expressive he was when speaking to those who understood him. The Flora Colossi have a structured society led by the Arbor Masters, and one of the more fascinating things about them is how they teach their young. Instead of traditional education, they use something called photonic knowledge. It's the collective wisdom of generations passed down through light absorption, basically learning through photosynthesis. Because of that system, their children grow up with advanced intelligence and a deep understanding of their culture. Groot's own background is unique because he came from what was called an ennobled sapline, meaning he was born into a respected lineage. He had an impressive natural understanding of quasi-dimensional engineering, which made him even more gifted. But Groot never really fit in socially. Instead of bonding with other saplings, he preferred spending time with the maintenance mammals, creatures that the other saplings looked down on. This caused tension, and things escalated when Groot defended one of the mammals from abuse by killing the sapling that attacked it. Because the Arbor Masters didn't approve of this, they exiled him, sending him out into the universe long before he ever crossed paths with Rocket Raccoon. Another version of his origin was shown in his solo comic series. In this version, the Flora Colossi were secretly abducting beings from other planets, including a young human girl named Hannah. When Groot realized what was happening, he rescued her and managed to send her home. But although he did the right thing, the Flora Colossi punished him by exiling him again, forcing him to wander alone until he eventually became part of the Guardians. Both origins share the same theme. Groot has always been willing to stand up for others, even when it costs him something. With all that in mind, Vin Diesel hinting at the Arbor King makes fans believe the MCU might finally explore Planet X in more detail. So naturally, this brings us to how such a project might influence the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Because Groot returning in any project, whether a solo film, a Disney Plus series, or a tie-in, signals that the Guardians universe isn't done expanding. And even though James Gunn has moved on from Marvel, it doesn't mean the characters he helped build are disappearing. Vin Diesel has always seemed excited about Groot, and the simple fact that he's recording for a sequel-like project is, by itself, a huge sign. It could be related to I Am Groot Season 3, or it could be a new format altogether. But either way, it keeps the Guardians team in the MCU spotlight. These characters mean a lot to fans, and even a subtle hint like this serves as reassurance that Marvel hasn't forgotten about them. It's impossible to know exactly how this will play into future storylines because Marvel's entire slate has been shifting. Major movies like Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars went through big rewrites after Jonathan Majors was fired, and Blade is still struggling through never-ending development issues. Even side projects like Nova and Strange Academy have been put on hold, so everything is in a flexible phase right now. Because of that uncertainty, Vin Diesel's post feels even more significant. If this truly is the first public hint at a Groot solo project, it could still be years before Marvel officially confirms it. And Disney could easily reshape it into something else as time goes on. It might become a series, a team-up movie, or even evolve into a full Guardians project focusing on Rocket's new team. Meanwhile, fans are also trying to piece together other MCU rumors. There are questions about whether Avengers Doomsday will really have multiple Doctor Doom variants, especially as people wonder why Wanda Maximoff and Moon Knight aren't mentioned in early leaks. Collider has reported that the first Doomsday trailer may drop before Avatar: Fire and Ash on December 18th, so the hype is building fast. Because of that, fans are combining excitement about Groot with all the speculation surrounding the Avengers movies, creating a whole bunch of theories about where the MCU's cosmic side is heading next. So as all these moving parts shift around, one thing is obvious. Vin Diesel returning to voice Groot for something called the Arbor King is a promising sign. It keeps the Guardians alive in the larger MCU landscape, gives hope that Groot's backstory will finally get the spotlight, and reminds everyone that even though the old trilogy has ended, the story of these characters hasn't. So for now, the best thing fans can do is stay tuned, keep sharing theories, and stay ready for whatever Marvel decides to reveal next. After all, the future of Groot and the entire cosmic side of the MCU feels a little more open than it did before. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.